So Keats, we don't want to miss out on the upper body. So what type of basic screening can you do for the upper body?
Josh, it's really hard to beat just your basic push-up test. A lot of people think that it's just a test of arm strength, but actually it really incorporates even more, even some of the lower body. It really also tells us a lot about kind of what's going on with the core muscles. Core is a big buzzword. Everybody, we got to train the core, we got to train the core. But what we're really looking for here is the core contracting properly to keep that back from going into a big arch, right? So that's really important, and that's gonna, if that stability down there is poor, it could limit their ability to really use their shoulder muscles, their chest muscles, their triceps, and then it also gives us a snapshot into what's going on in the neck. We are a computer sort of technology dominated culture now, and this forward head thing that so many people spend their day in has become it's just so common, it's so prevalent. And the push-up gives you a good idea of what's going on with the balance of their neck muscles. I mean, a lot of people, their neck's going to shoot way forward right away, and that's going to tell you that they might have some faulty breathing patterns, so they're not breathing as efficiently or effectively as they could. And that's not just for good oxygen exchange, it's also for joint health. So the push-ups tells us a lot of information rather than just how fit are they or how many push-ups can they do. In fact, I'm not even using it as how many reps can they do. I'd only want to see a few reps. Again, 3 to 5 reps of all these moves are all you really need to capture just a snapshot of what this person's doing. Because everyone's going to fatigue probably after that, and then you're going to definitely see. But we want to see, can they put it together from those first few reps? So if we had a dowel rod, we could actually place this on the back when the person was in the push-up position, and what you're trying to get them to do is to see if they can maintain 3 points of contact, which would be the back of the head, the middle back, and the lower back, or excuse me, the sacrum. So there's going to be a space between my neck and my lumbar spine or lower back, and then you're going to ask them to push up. And what you're going to see is you're going to see a lot of this, or you're going to see a big sway. In a lot of people, you're not going to see that stick or that dowel maintained in a good, proper position. And then of course there's going to be a lot of people that just cannot do a push-up. So you could do the assessment on the knees, or better yet, you might just get them against a table, or it could be a bench, and just make sure it's sturdy, to see if they can even put it together in an incline position. Because a lot of people are just not ready for a push-up on the floor. That's okay. You can still train that pattern in an easier way. From that, I would look at rowing, some sort of a row type motion with a cable, with a dumbbell. The cable works nice, could even be tubing, and just have them perform just a basic row pattern. What we're looking for with that, how do they sequence it? Is it more arms? Are they kind of flexed and not really keeping their trunk upright? Is their shoulder elevating towards their ear, which would indicate a really hypertonic or overly happy to contract trapezius muscle, which almost always indicates a weak sort of set of scapular stabilizer muscles, which would be like your rhomboids and your lower and middle trapezius primarily. And these are pretty simple things to do. They don't take a lot of time, but they'll give you valuable information as to how your client and sort of their body, their nervous system is putting these patterns together. And there might be some things you need to do differently for a little bit. Doesn't mean they don't need to train. It doesn't mean you got to stick them into this paralysis by analysis training phase for 6 weeks where all they do is these exercises on the floor and these little isolation moves. I mean, that's just boring. And if that's how you're doing corrective exercise, you need to catch up to speed, because you don't need to regress somebody that far.